Good morning. I'm Minda Bickley, the Outreach Coordinator here at Peace. We've all listened to and watched the devastating news stories coming out of Ukraine, and we're all searching for an opportunity to help. Matt Kauner, a member here at Peace, has opened that door and brought us an opportunity.
So, talking with a longtime family friend, Luba Kirpita, who is from Ukraine, she disclosed to me some things that she's doing with her friend Natalie right here in Columbus, Ohio. And I think it's really meaningful. So, Luba, thank you for being here. You're from Ukraine. Can you describe to everyone how you came to the United States?
We came to United States in 1994, and as a Christian, we were persecuted by KGBs because my dad was a pastor, and KGB often would come to our home to raid our home. I'm very thankful for American government that allowed us to come in all people from Soviet Union who was persecuted for religious faith.
So I know you and your friend Natalie, who I'd like to introduce, are helping some families right here in Columbus, Ohio, who recently came from Ukraine to the United States. So Natalie, you're also originally from Ukraine, and you and Luba have undertaken a very heartwarming effort to help some families right here in Columbus, Ohio. Can you describe what you're doing?
Yes, there are 4 families that came recently to Columbus, Ohio, and we are trying to help them to adjust here, to take care of them, their children, their needs.
What was it like for them to travel over here, and what were the circumstances?
It was really hard decision for all of them since they had to leave back everything they had in Ukraine since the war started. And some of them left their husbands, their sons, and they had to flee to run to Europe, and they stayed in different places. And then America started like humanitarian parole program that allowed them to stay for 1 year here and to work. But it's just a long process to get permission to work.
Yeah.
And
you described to me that most of them were able to bring just one bag of belongings, is that right?
Yes, they didn't have time, and they just got small backpacks. Each person got small backpacks with only the documents and maybe small personal items.
Right. So the 4 families, we're going to show a screenshot of them. Could you introduce them to the Peace family?
Yes, I will. Thank you. This is Oleg, Tanya, and there are 2 children, Abigail, 7, and Joshua, 6. Oleg came to USA in 1994, but then in 2000, he went back to Odessa, Ukraine, to minister the street children. And he met his wife, Tanya, there. They got married, and he had to get his family in Iran because he is an American citizen. They went to Hungary. They were helping refugees for 2 months. Their children were still taking school online through Zoom, and they had to go over and over again, like almost every day, because teachers were still in Ukraine, and kids would hear sirens, and teachers would tell them like sirens are for the air raids are again just started. We need to stop our lesson, and we will come back to you when the sirens are off. So kids had a lot of stress, and even being in Hungary, they still went through that stress every day, almost every day. This is the next family of Svetlana, mom. She's 44 years old, and her 2 daughters and granddaughter, 20-month-old. They lived close to the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv, and the city next to their city was city Bucha that a lot of us heard on the news recently. That was almost completely destroyed and many people killed. Their city was occupied also by the Russian army. She was an elementary school teacher, and her husband and her son-in-law had to stay in Ukraine to fight for the country. They left the first day the war started because the first day they had Russian helicopters flying over their city and bombing their homes. Their home is damaged, a roof is damaged by shelling, 5 windows are busted, door is damaged. It's need to be rebuilt. So they had to flee, and it's really hard on them to leave their husband, their son, because they were really close, and it's really painful for them because they don't know if they will have a house to go back to. This is Valentina. She's 74 years old. She is from Odessa, Ukraine. Her husband passed away about a year ago, and she had to live by herself among many other people when the local churches, local government got them on, many people got on the buses and were taken to the border. They had to go for 4 miles to cross the border because the line was really long, and then they had to wait for 3 hours in the cold rain to get on another bus that would take them to a safe place. She has her son back in Odessa. I'm really worried about him. He is there to help his country. It's really hard on her. She worries about her son. She worries about the future of her country. This is our next family, Igor and Anastasia, a young couple in their 30s. They have Nathan, a son who is 20 months old, and they're pregnant with another baby boy that is due in June. They are originally from Odessa, Ukraine. They had a couple of successful businesses in Odessa. He had a coffee shop, and she is a fashion designer. She had her own clothing line. So it's really hard for them. They had to leave everything they worked for so hard in Ukraine. They left the first morning after they heard bombing and explosions really close to their home. And Igor made the decision quickly. He worried about his pregnant wife. He couldn't leave her. They don't have much family he could send his wife and kid with. So he took them out of the country the same morning. They are here. They don't know what to do. Their businesses were closed and not working right now in Odessa. They don't know how they will support themselves, and to start all over again, it would be, it's hard for them. They hope for the better, and if it will end soon, they want to go back to the city and to start work again on their businesses. This is Violetta and her 2 daughters, Diana, who is 13, and Zlata, who is 8. Violetta is married. Her husband stayed back in Ukraine. They are from city Lviv, on the west part of Ukraine. She has a bachelor degree. She was working as a manager in a medical office. So they lived on the 10th floor. And since the sirens about the air raids were almost like every day, every night, sometimes like in the middle of the night from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., they had to go down outside and just to wait outside. There were no bomb shelters close by. Her mom used to work in the factory. The factory was bombed, and mom does not have work. They were left with no work, and everything was closed. She had that decision, they made the decision to leave the city. His 2 daughters and husband is staying there in Lviv, helping to protect his country. Even they're here in America right now, it's still hard on them, and they have that trauma. The first Wednesday, when we have those tornado sirens in the city at noon, we forgot to tell them about that, and the siren went off. Children were outside scared because they thought that the same is happening here as it was in their country. We are really thankful that you allowed us to share our stories, to share the stories of our friends, and you opened your hearts to, we feel welcomed, and we're really thankful for everything you do for our people. And it's really encouraging to see how the body of Christ can help each other and can show their love and be feet and arms of Jesus in this world that needs so much help right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you from this whole congregation to Matt for opening this opportunity to us, but especially to Natalie and Luba for coming out and sharing their stories. I know we are a generous congregation. I don't think I need to say anything more. We have an opportunity to be the hands and feet of God. Jesus is watching. He's in this room with each of you. Our opportunity is to share Target or Meijer or Visa gift cards. You can bring them in here to the church, and we'll make sure they get to Luba and Natalie and to the families any day when the office is open from Monday through Thursday or Sunday morning. Open your pockets and be the generous people that I know you are. Thank you.